I think we'll call to order the library board meeting for tonight for July 12th, and at 7:04 p.m. Lori, I hit the record button.
You need to start something to record the meeting?
I did. Yep.
Okay.
I had a big giant Post-it note from David that said, make sure you hit record.
Okay, because nothing said it for us, like on Zoom, it usually says it's being recorded.
Yeah, no, it says recording in progress, so I'm good.
Very good.
But thank you, Jan,
Nancy,
for helping me.
can you not hear us, or we can't hear you either?
You can't hear me?
No, Nancy.
Oh, Nancy, you can't hear us? We can't hear you. You're on mute. Now you're not muted.
Nancy, maybe you just need to go out and come in if everybody else is able to hear.
Because I don't think she's talking either.
She doesn't know we're talking to her.
She doesn't? Nancy!
Can't hear.
Are you going to write to her, Jan?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. First order of business is taking a look at our meeting minutes from last month. I think everybody had those in the packet. If you want to take a moment to take a look at those, let us know if we need to make any changes, and if not, we'll have somebody make a motion to approve them.
I just had 1 point, or 2 points actually. The date, the year is missing from the date at the top. That's
okay. Oh boy.
Started getting ready to bind all the minutes, and that helped me to look at. And then under new business, it says Ms. Brown reported that Mr. Peter Wilner has been selected to fill the vacancy, and I think at that point he was nominated because it was prior to the vote, prior to the nomination. So he wasn't, or you could say he was selected as a nominee, but he wasn't really selected at that point.
Okay. Make a note of that. Anything else?
Jill, I am the one, you don't have to worry about it too much. I'll take care of that, and then so selected as nominee and year. Okay.
Anybody else? No? Okay. So if we're good with making those changes, thanks, Christina. I guess we can make a motion. Who would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month? Anybody?
I'll move to approve with amendments.
That's Andrew, right?
Was that Andrew?
Yeah, that was Andrew.
And you want to
I saw myself on camera. I'm not going on camera.
Who wants to second it? Hello? Anybody? Anybody want to second it, please?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Peter. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
All right, we're all approved. Yep, we're all approved. We approved the meeting minutes with the changes that Christine is going to make. Oh, there you are, Andrew. Oh, with his crutches.
Yeah. I got out of my cast today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I hope you're starting to feel a little bit better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, cast was the worst. But yeah, in the time between the last meeting, Peter, and this one, I've had Achilles surgery for a torn Achilles. So.
That is so painful. You poor thing.
Hence the crutches.
Well, sorry about that, Andrew. That's a tough one to have an injury to deal with. Oh my God, I can't even imagine how painful.
At least I'm on the road to recovery, so that's the key.
Yes, you're sitting up.
Hopefully you had a good
exactly.
nurse at home.
Yes, I did, and 3 very interested parties in my children taking care of me.
I was going to say they're helping you.
Yes, exactly.
Good. Well, I'm glad you could join us tonight. So moving on with the chairman's report. So obviously we're delighted to welcome a new board member this evening, Mr. Peter Wilner, who was voted in by Brenda Kupchik and the board last month. And I know we have some big shoes to fill with Duncan being no longer with us, but Peter was part of the interview process with Duncan and I, so he got a good earful and spoke with Duncan. Peter, did you want to just introduce yourself to everybody who haven't met you yet and just talk a little bit about what you're looking to do with the board and just a little bit of your experience, because you are an awesome fit and bring a lot of great experience to us tonight.
Sure. Well, first, I'm very honored to have been selected. As I have said during the interview process several times, the library is one of those jewels that is within this community. I was just saying the other night to a group of people when we were up in Maine that when you look at a community, you have to look at not only your public school system, your police department, and your fire department, but the quality of your library tells a lot about what the community is all about. What kind of investment is being made in the library? How do we keep it up to date to address issues of technology and changing tastes, demographics, etc. So I have always been a major supporter of the library, going all the way back to when I was a little kid, and that was the place I would run to by myself because it was around the corner from us in New York to read the Encyclopedia Britannica on an ongoing basis, look at old magazines. I used to love looking at old magazines, and because I'm a history buff, I loved looking at old journals and things like that. So the library has always been very important to me. In terms of my own background, I've had a rather eclectic career. Grew up in New York City, son of Holocaust survivors. We came to the United States in 1949. I have my degree in education from my undergraduate degree in education from Long Island University, and I have a doctorate in education from the University of Massachusetts. My area of focus was actually the education of children with special needs, and had written my dissertation on the need to have excuse me, I'm listening to something in the background. The area of my primary concern at that time was the whole issue of how handicapped children were being excluded from public education, depending on the school district that you were in. And up until that time, in fact, there was a class action suit brought by an attorney here in Connecticut named Klebanoff, Howard Klebanoff, who was affiliated with the Yale Law School, who brought a class action suit against the federal government for the denial of services to all handicapped kids, which ultimately Howard won, and the federal law 94-142 was enacted, which now covers all the states and the mandate to provide services to kids. Anyway, without getting too deep into all of that, I wrote a dissertation in that area. I then went to work for the Commissioner of Education in Massachusetts, actually being responsible to move kids who were residing in state institutions for the retarded back into the local school systems. From there, I got recruited here to Connecticut by the commissioner at that time, Mark Shedd, to set up Cooperative Educational Services, which is the entity which was established by the 14 school districts in the county to initially provide services to low incidence handicapped kids, which I did that for the next 11 years. And then when I was 42, I changed my career and I actually went into the world of philanthropy by getting involved administratively with the United Jewish Appeal Federation of Jewish Philanthropies out of New York, which then led me to becoming Chief Operating Officer for the Anti-Defamation League, which many of you may know of. It's a national civil rights organization. And then I finished out my career, my last 12 years, as the chief executive officer of an organization entitled American Friends of Hebrew University. Hebrew University is one of the top 52 universities in the world. It's located in Jerusalem. The American Friends was focused on not only promoting the university and its accomplishments, but also to raise money for it on an annual basis. So my organization was raising anywhere from 50 to $70 million a year. In addition, my volunteer focus is that I am one of the founding directors, board members of the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation, which the foundation was established as the outgrowth of the December 2012 tragedy in Newtown. This foundation is focused on educating parents, children, school administrators, and teachers on warning signs of potential gun violence and suicide. Sandy Hook Promise, if you have an opportunity to look at the webpage, I think you'll be quite impressed by what a number of parents who were so negatively, horrifically affected by that cold December Friday, what they did in terms of addressing it in a positive way. And I'm also a vice president at Congregation Bethel here in Fairfield. So that gives you a quick synopsis of who I am. I'm married for 50 years. I am a major dog lover. I have 2 kids. My daughter is an attorney, criminal defense attorney in New York City. My son is a businessman in Colorado. And we've been living in Fairfield for 41 years, and we love this town.
We do too. Great. Thanks, Peter. We do too. It's such an impressive background. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're really, really excited to have you on the board. And I know you're going to have a lot of wonderful contributions to the group. So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so next item on the chairman's report that David wanted me to make sure that we spoke about tonight was a director search update. I think he had shared the update that we had received from the recruiting agency. I don't know if any of you had a chance to take a look at that really quick. Basically, we've had 19 applicants so far, which is pretty healthy. All those applicants provide a resume and a cover letter and fill out a questionnaire that they get sent. The listing is actually closing on July 18th, which would mean it completes about 6 weeks of the listing. The candidate pool then gets narrowed down to semifinalists, which would be about 6 to 9 candidates or so. And then the final candidates are narrowed down to 3 to 4 who will present to the board. And Brenda via virtual or in person, depending on that personal preference at that time, dealing with COVID and making sure people are comfortable with in person or virtual. After that, there'll be the selection and a vote, and then an offer will be made and negotiations, and then hopefully acceptance. And the start date, they're targeting the second half of September, just because of the way, the ads have gone out and the normal process, the length it takes. So it's very exciting. There was a question by Brenda. I don't know if you guys saw that. Brenda would like to participate in potentially those video, if we do in person or do video interviews. We may actually have them also do maybe a short 3-minute introduction and the final candidates for her, so she can participate if she's not able to attend the in-person or virtual interviews themselves with the board. So yeah, so things are looking good. They're expecting it now as the ad kind of slows down. They've actually sent it to a lot of people. They've done a lot of listservs. They have a newsletter they send out to about 1,700 people targeted. And then they start doing one-on-one kind of recruiting reach outs to people that they've been referred to.
And saw it again today. I'm sure Jan did too. Was in contact again today. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. And the word is out. I talked to the director of the Wilton Library last week, and the word is out that she's leaving. So I said to them too, well, if you know of anybody, make sure you forward them along. Anyway, so that's it for chairman's report at the moment. Next up, we're going to be doing old. I hate that they call it old business, but I guess old business. Jan, are you subbing for Helene tonight?
Yes. And
Great.
hopefully my dog will not begin to bark again. I get through this. But you've probably read in the operations report that we've updated the face mask policy, and we're only requiring masks now for people who are going to the children's room and unvaccinated, but we don't ask. So we're monitoring that. At the end of this week, we'll stop having a greeter at the door. The children's department says that they can handle it themselves to monitor people, because a lot of we're checking people at the door, and if they have children, tell them they have to wear a mask. But by the time they get upstairs, who knows? So I don't know. The situation may be different at Woods because of the way that they're set up. I don't know if you want to talk about that later, Nancy. The other thing is the summer reading program is going strong. I saw today that in 3 weeks we have 350,000 minutes logged, which we try for 1 million is always our goal. And so we're doing a lot of outdoor programs with children when it's not raining. Which hasn't been a
Been
lot.
impossible.
So children's and teens have been having outdoor programs, as well as continuing with the virtual, and we're still doing virtual adult programs as well, with a few crafty kind of things in person as well. The study rooms coming along. It's incredible how much they've gotten done so far. All the framing is up. Some walls are up. They're waiting for glass, but it shouldn't be much longer before the study rooms are ready.
Wow. What are they anticipating for that to be done by? Do you know?
I don't recall, but I'm going to say like another week or two.
Wow. That's
Last
fast.
something.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks good. I was a little concerned at first because it seemed like it might be kind of too closed, but there's a lot of light. There's a lot of windows. They all have windows on different sides, and it looked good this afternoon.
It's exciting. Can't wait to see it.
I think I mentioned the American Rescue Plan Act grant that we're getting from the state. So the application was completed and accepted. So we'll be getting $22,834 for that, for some things that COVID related.
Yeah, I remember that. It had to be COVID related, right? We were talking about what you can use the money for.
Yeah, so we're going to get a couple of solar outdoor charging stations. Kind of cool. We'll be able to count our Wi-Fi, which we've long wanted to do. So we finally found a way to do that. And some mobile shelving as well, which will enable us to kind of modify space as needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to talk about the storm last week, or that was yesterday?
Friday.
Last week. I don't know what day.
Soon we forget, Jan.
It's Friday, I think. So we had some leaks and some flooding in the basement at the library. They were kind of like new things that have not been problems in the past, and some places that have been problems in the past were not problems, which is good. That's a good sign. So the head of PW, James Ryan, was over today, and he's not really concerned about any of it. He said all over town things sprang leaks that never had before. So it was just a really incredible amount of rain in a short period of time. That,
yeah.
So we don't anticipate any lasting from it.
Yeah. I think a few of us had that at home too. I was just saying to Jan before, I my house sprung a couple leaks, so a couple surprises.
Oh, and the strategic plan, that's also moving along. Nancy and I are going to be meeting later this week. We've gotten the action plan kind of, we're working on that.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks for mentioning that. That wasn't in the David's notes, so I appreciate you bringing that up. I was going to ask about the strategic plan, where we were. Great. All right. So let's move on to Nancy. Do you want to give us an update on Woods?
Sure. First of all, I apologize.
Lost her.
And Peter, welcome. I'm Nancy Sweeney. I'm the branch manager at Woods. So I don't really have a lot other than I think that our elevator is finally up and running and doing what elevators are supposed to do, go up and down and bring you from floor to floor. We are still having problems with our alarm system, something to do with the fire panel. And so we're every day at 10:58, it still goes off. And when Joey comes in the morning, it's going off. So we're trying to get, first we had two of the parties together, Frontier and the alarm company, and that didn't work. So now we're going to try to get the electrician involved as well, those three components, and hopefully it will finally get figured out what the problem is. We have a front door problem. It keeps breaking, so we're looking into getting that replaced. But that's a big thing. So right now they just come and they kind of patch it back together while we figure out what we're going to do. And then our furniture, we're still working on that for the reference area. We're meeting with Deanna tomorrow to go over and finalize. There were a few things that we had some questions about. She had some questions about as well. So we're just doing that. And then hopefully it will be here by late August, September. That's what we're hoping. So, and then to follow up with Jan, the summer reading is going really, really well. Last week we started a little hide the tales in the stacks. Mary Mao, our librarian downtown, who's our crafty person, made all the tails. They're beautiful. She made all the prizes for the mermaid tails. If you find one, they're mini keychains of the tail. The objective is in the adult section, you hide the tails around the stacks. And if you find one, you bring it to the info desk to be redeemed for a prize. So if you find the mermaid tail, which is a little harder, you get the mermaid keychain. If you find one of the animal tails, which are easier, you get either a little origami paper that you can put together or a bookmark that you can color. And when I'm out greeting, I talk it up, and we also have a big poster that says the mermaid tail has not been found yet today, and people stop and ask what that means. And the adults, like we've had some families come in, which was expected, but when the adults hear about it, they giggle or they're surprised and like, oh, that's fun for adults.
I want to do it.
Yeah. So and they go in there and then they'll come out and they're like, oh, I found one, or they'll come out and they're like, no, I didn't find one. I'm like, well, we're doing it all month, so come back again. And the story walk has been amazing. I think I'm going to miss being out greeting, because seeing the kids and the families come up and go around the building, and like this week it's our 4th week, and we have families who've been doing every week, and the kids are just so excited when they come back. Oh, this story. So it's been really, really good, and it's been very busy there. So
that's good. That's wonderful. That's great, Nancy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what? I'm going to jump ahead a little bit instead of going to space planning, because I'd like to get Leanne to be able to give her report on Friends before she has to scoot out. Is that okay?
Fine.
Good. How about you, Leanne?
Yep. That's perfect, because I just have 2 things. I know that Jan had mentioned before, but the Friends met in person last month, which was super exciting to see everyone and have face-to-face. And it was a full house at my house. I was kind of surprised that like everyone on the board showed up. So we had a great meeting. And the big news is the food truck festival is on. We have approval. So exciting. So October 3rd is the date, and then the rain date is the 10th. So we're working on our budget. I know that we talked to you all about the gifts to the library. So we did not spend a lot of money last year. Our intent is to spend a lot more money on gifts. So that's what we're working towards.
Yay. So exciting about the food truck festival. Yay.
I know, so exciting. Well, thank you so much for participating, letting me participate with you all, and I will see you next month. If anyone needs anything, you can just reach out to me. But I got to go to my other meeting now. So
Okay. Thanks,
have a
Leanne.
great.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thanks, Leanne.
Awesome. Oh, Food Truck Festival back. I'm very excited about that. Okay, so let's go back in order. Do we want to go to space planning? Andrew, Jan, Chris, gang? Do you want to talk about where we are with that?
Sure. Jan stole the thunder about the meeting rooms. I kid. So that's great. No, very excited about that stuff. Only other update is just around the furniture. So it's still set in to arrive in early September. Helene did let me know that she's requested that they potentially get a partial order earlier, but there's no commitment yet.
No.
And then the only other thing regarding that is around getting the funds for that, which I'll hand over to Chris. I think he sent out a note as well, just regarding the fund transfer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Hey, Andrew, sorry about that. I missed the last part. What was it?
Just about the fund transfer from to First County. Just with regards
so that's going to go through
payment
tomorrow.
for the cool.
Yeah, so that's going to go through tomorrow. It took a while to get everything transferred over from the retail side over to the institutional side.
Mm-hmm.
That got all done, and then there's a bunch of additional forms that I had to fill out today. Everything finally came together last Thursday, Friday. So that should hit the account sometime tomorrow afternoon, I believe.
Cool. That's good.
Perfect.
Be nice if you can get the
And that's it for
furniture. That'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some of that stuff in. We'll see. Hopefully have an update for our next call. But other than that, that is it for space planning.
Mm-hmm.
As the stuff comes in, I'm sure we'll start planning for the next phase of space planning.
Yep. The next phase of space planning. Hopefully you'll be well enough to come and enjoy it once everything kind of gets put together and we do like a big launch party.
Exactly. That would be delightful.
Yes. So you can enjoy the fruits of your
Mostly
labors.
the being up and about.
Yes. That's what we hope for. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks, Andrew
All
and
right.
Chris. Appreciate it.
We've been
Okay.
opening up more and more space in the library. So like we're getting kind of nervous about the furniture because pretty soon we're gonna run out of chairs of the old stuff because they get rid of a lot of it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really do that till you get the new stuff in, right, Jan?
yeah, well, that area over by the DVDs, I think we can just leave that open without any furniture for a while if we have to.
Yeah.
But
That makes
people
sense.
are using every single space that we've made available. The tables have people at them constantly. So
Oh yeah, they fill back up again.
yeah.
Well, I can understand that. I like using this.
Calls about the study rooms
Yeah.
would be upset, except
Well,
when we
fingers
tell
crossed
them
we
that we're doubling the number of them, then they're happy. So
Yeah. Very cool. Okie dokie. Yep. Jan, you're up next with your library operations report.
is that I gave before? Oh, I did the whole operations report before.
You did everything in old business.
Sorry,
Gotta change the name of that.
I'm not used to this.
That's good. It's all good.
Okay, so we'll just go right to financial, I guess.
Wonderful.
So what I sent you was the end of the year for FY21, which isn't actually the end. We're still spending on that.
Mhm.
I made a little chart. If you look at Woods on the town report, it looks like we're only 85% spent. But if you look at the lines, the non-salary lines, we're actually 96% spent. So that's pretty good for Woods.
Yes.
Maine, we didn't do quite as well, although we do have a number of payments still pending. So we'll see how that all comes out in the end. And then I did send along the new budget with the new already started encumbering on that as well.
Mhm.
That's good. And then the revolving fund report that I sent just this afternoon because
Mhm.
the statements just came in today. Wasn't not that much activity, nothing really significant, except we did have a little balance in the Friends Museum pass money. So we did start buying museum passes and we started circulating them.
Oh, that's
We
great.
probably have about 10 or 12 at this point, at least.
I know those are popular. I remember people were talking about it on the Nextdoor app when you guys were going to start having them available again. People really like them.
So they're there, and hopefully we'll get our our gift from the Friends again, and we'll continue with that. And the quarterly report I was even able to complete the quarterly report. I don't know that there's if anybody has any questions or if you want to look it over and questions next.
Jan, do you accrue any expenses from one fiscal year or to the other, or do you try and put them all in the last fiscal year?
Well, with the revolving fund, it really doesn't matter because that's your money. That's the board's money. So
Right.
it doesn't have to end.
Doesn't
So
go anywhere.
yeah, we don't end. I do
We
the
don't lose it if we don't use it. Right.
report based on the fiscal year, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay. That makes sense. Anybody have any questions about any of the financial reports or budget reports at this time? No? Okay. Wonderful. Moving right along. Chris, do you want to do your treasurer's report update?
Yeah, so I think I touched upon it earlier. You there? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, so I touched upon it earlier. So we're finally done with the retail to institutional transfer that we've been talking about. I would say 6 months, 100 forms that needed to be signed one way or another, but we're finally done. So that's a good step. Everything is going to be a lot easier going forward. Right now, like I said, we're transferring over the first 125,000. So that'll be in the account tomorrow. The other key items is this week we need to make a payment to the town for debt repayment. That's going to be about 84,000 and change. We've got another dividend check that we're going to give to them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for us. I sent across the report earlier, and again, S&P performed well, so our accounts continue to improve. I think I just did a quick analysis earlier today, and I think we're going to have about $90,000 to $95,000 available for next year's quote unquote 2% drawdown.
Mm-hmm.
So things are hopefully the S&P continues to perform and we can continue to fund nice improvements for the library.
Fantastic. I know that's been a lot of paperwork for you to have to go through and complete, so we appreciate all that work you've been doing.
You'd be amazed. Do you think Vanguard being, having like a couple trillion under management would make it, at the very least have DocuSign to send across to us so we could do it as opposed to us having to do it? But
yep,
that would be asking for too much.
Yeah. Do you think it has to do with the amount and the fact that it's institutional?
You know what it is? I think I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts around it. None of it are probably good for public consumption.
You have some good theories, and we can share that offline.
Yeah, that's like a deep offline with no cameras around.
Yeah, just the differences. Yeah. I always wonder about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're just too big, and I think they need to check a lot of boxes.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Okie doke. Well, thank you for that. Leanne did her update. So let's next up. So new business. So something that we wanted to vote on tonight actually is, as you guys have all heard, with the search for our new library director, that person will not be in place until mid-September. And as such, Helene is going to be leaving us towards the end of August, which means it leaves a little bit of a wiggle room window there, which will need some coverage. And David, I believe, approached, not necessarily she volunteered, but David approached Jan to see if she would mind doing being our interim library director to cover that period of time. And as she did such a wonderful job last time, she graciously said yes. So we appreciate, Jan, that you're saying yes to that. Thank you very much. But that also requires us as a board to vote to confirm that Jan Fisher will be our interim library director to cover the period between Helene and our new library director in September. So I'd like to make a motion, if everybody's okay with that, or have somebody make a motion to vote on confirming Jan Fisher as our interim library director in September. Who would like to make a motion on that so we can vote?
Hey, I'll make a motion.
Is that you,
what you
Chris?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Chris, do you want to second that, Peter?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we saying that this appointment is from now till September 30th? Or are we saying, because the assumption that is you'll have somebody in place by September 30th?
Well, the assumption is we'll have somebody in place by the second week, hopefully in September.
But if,
and this is just covering Helene's
No,
time
no.
from when she leaves in the end of August, right, Jan, to when we have our new person. So it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a week. Like last time, right? It was only, I think it was less than a week, Jan, that you had to do that, right?
No, I understand. I think the question is, what happens if the new person can't start by the second week in September? Do we have to vote again on extending Jan's time?
I don't
Or
think
should
so.
we-
I don't think they've had to deal with that yet before.
I think
Right.
you don't put any dates on it because
No.
that's what I was going to say. Even if the selection is made in mid-September, it may take several weeks for the
Right.
person to actually get here.
Right,
So
right.
it's really, you're just voting on the time from to the new person.
Yeah, when Helene departs to when the new person starts. Yeah, so we won't put any particular dates around that.
Yeah, that was specifically my question. Should
Yeah.
we leave it more open-ended?
I agree. I think that's a really good idea. Everybody feeling the same way about that? Cool. Okay. So, Chris, do you want to make the motion again?
Resolved that Jan Fisher has become acting head librarian from whenever Helene is leaving to the time that the new head librarian assumes the position.
Yep. Okay. So
Okay, I'll second that. That's it.
great, Christina. Thank you. So all in favor with a hearty yes is me.
Thank you, Jan. Congratulations,
Thank you,
Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jan. Really appreciate it.
We love you. You know how much we think of you, so we appreciate you doing that.
Thank you for your confidence in me.
Of course. Wonderful. Let's see. And I think we talked a little bit at the top before we closed the meeting about virtual versus in person. The next meeting in August will be virtual. David will send out an invite and a link with WebEx one more time. And at that point, we will also set up a date for our first in-person board meeting to be held at Maine in September. So it's very exciting, barring anything horrible happening in the world with COVID. Hopefully that'll be the case, and it'll be wonderful. We had a little taste of that. What was it, 2 meetings ago, Christina? Where we got to all go in and we got to go see the space area and be together, and we sat apart and had masks, and it was so great to all be together again. So I'm very much looking forward to that with everybody. Wonderful.
In that big room again.
Yeah. Which one is that one, Jan, again?
The Rotary Room.
The Rotary Room versus the other one, which is what, the Founders?
In that little tiny Jennings room, but I think we'll
Yes.
big room since we won't be renting rooms in September for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely. Great. I love the other one too that has all the history in it. I love that room. That's beautiful.
room.
Okay, wonderful. Is there anything else? Anybody? Oh, Peter?
Question: would it be possible to receive a copy of the job description for the head librarian? That
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
just to see what it looks like.
Yes, no, we have that on file because we all kind of tweaked and worked at it. So I can make sure, I think we have it, we might have it in that Google Drive. I have to check and see because David usually handles that. So let me double check and we'll get that over to you.
Fine, thank you.
Great. Anybody else? Anything else?
Just to mention to Peter that the board does maintain a Google Drive with all sorts of documents on it, that being one of them. And I will send you the information to get into that tomorrow.
Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jan. I wasn't sure about the actual address. I think David had shared that with us at one point, and we pulled some stuff when we were working on the strategic plan stuff. But that's something you probably, Peter, should go and take a look at for sure.
Yeah, and I think I have to do something to allow him.
Yes, like to invite him or add him.
I'll
Yeah.
take care of that tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, Jan. Everybody else okay? Nancy, everything good? Wonderful. All right. Well, then let's see if anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's board meeting.
So
I'll make, oh, yep, there we go, Peter. I can second it
Jumps at
again.
that one.
That was a fast one. Yeah, so I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, I.
Aye.
Pretty good. Wonderful. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, Jill. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you being
subbing.
supportive.
Jill.
thank you.
We'll see you
Good
guys
night.
again soon.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.